Welcome to the Beaned Out Pod. I'm Josh,
I'm Kieran.
and we're here with
Alex Pong of Paper Son Coffee.
So, Alex, obviously, like we know how you started out in specialty coffee with Paper Son as like your business. But for the listeners that are going to be listening to the podcast, can you just talk about the origin of Paper Son and how we started out here and to eventually like to get to where we are now?
We could do a little walkthrough how we got here. So let's see. We can start with like quick journey through coffee. So I guess in 2019-ish, I was working in tech, and then on the weekends I was also working as a barista. Shout out Contraband Coffee in Nob Hill, RIP.
Rip.
RIP, they closed during COVID, but it was a good time. And then I worked at Gina Bakes for a bit, and then in 2023 I got laid off from my job, and I was like, all right, well, if I'm ever gonna start a coffee business, now is the time.
Okay, yeah.
Just give it a shot.
All in.
And just try.
Yeah.
So I think I originally was thinking about doing coffee cart or something like that. And then out of nowhere, a mutual friend of my wife's was like, oh, there's an opportunity at Neighbor Bakehouse to run the coffee program. So I was like, okay. And then he was like, yeah, it's going to be 5 days a week, basically. And I was like, well, shit.
Well, it's full time, maybe full-time job right there.
So yeah, then we kind of just like dove in head first.
You ran with it.
Yeah. We started that in summer of 2023, and now it's been almost like a year and a half plus running the coffee in Neighbor Bakehouse.
Almost 2 years.
And then in May of 2024, we got a call from Vacant to Vibrance, and they were like,
City program.
we found a space for you.
Yeah. And where we're now.
Yeah.
Where we are now.
This exact spot.
This spot now.
They were like, there's nothing in it. Can you come take a look at it and let us know in 2 days if you want to take it for 6 months? And so we did. And here we are. Bought all the equipment, got all the sinks and stuff installed in the back. And now we're just serving coffee. It's been a good time.
I guess the one thing that I wanted to ask you right from the get-go is something that you actually asked us when we started hosting Komakase here, and even before that, when we were just like a concept and we didn't quite know what we wanted to do. But like outside of being the best like coffee shop, or like outside of serving the best coffee possible, you asked us like what our mission statement / like what our business goals were, and it couldn't just be like, oh, we want to be the best, because everybody wants to be the best or like serve the best they possibly can, right? So and then you also gave us your examples, and I feel like that really resonated with like who we are as like service people and like what we want to do for our business. But like yours is very unique in my mind. Like do you remember like what you said to me?
Yeah, I feel like Paper Son Coffee is unique, but not super unique at on some level.
Sure.
I think every coffee shop owner who really likes coffee is trying to put out a really good product and a really good experience. But what that means to everyone is different. Like everyone thinks best or good. It means different things to different people. And so for us at Paper Son, we want to be a really good coffee shop, but we don't necessarily want to be a temple to specialty coffee. We're not serving like top lots of everything. We don't make people wait like 45 minutes and line up to have like an individualized experience. We want people to come in, get their coffee, get out, like move fast, treat people with respect. But just because we don't have that super boutique experience doesn't mean that we don't love coffee or take it seriously. So I think that's kind of our goal as a cafe. If you look at examples in the real world that are similar, maybe like a Melbourne style cafe where the coffee is high level, but the pace is fast. That would be like an archetype for the kind of cafe service that I think we strive for at Paper Son. So that's kind of like the customer service goals, and then also there's other core principles that I think I associate with the business. The first being serving locally roasted coffee. So all the coffee we serve here is roasted in the Bay Area.
So who are some of them?
Yeah, shout them out.
Yeah.
Who do you serve, Alex?
We have a lot of coffee from a lot of great Bay Area roasters. We have Flower Child, we have Hydrangea,
Shout
we
out to
have
Preston. Bill.
Moonwake, we have Burton Bear, shout out Dan at OG. Counterculture roasts are House Espresso and Emeryville. I think it's really important to support coffee professionals in the Bay. There's a lot of people who complain about Bay Area roasters, Bay Area coffee, whatever. But I feel like as a business, it's important to support the people who are bringing the change that you want to see. And so if you don't support coffee professionals in your area, you're never going to have the things that you really, really want. And so that's an important tenet for Paper Son Coffee. Another one is having Asian-inspired flavors in our drinks. The name itself is a nod to how Chinese immigrants came to the United States. My great-great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, my grandfather on my mom's side, like they're all Paper Sons. And I think more broadly as a concept, they came to the U.S., essentially joined a new family, found a new family, and became part of a new family. And I think it was, there's something to be said about business relationships also becoming like real relationships too. You support people with your dollars, but in return, it's not just transactional. So yeah, I really love, like, for example, I really love hosting you guys here. And it's like you get like non-transactional opportunities that I think are really, really important. Yeah, those are like our core tenets. And the last one, of course, I kind of alluded to this before with the fast service, is just having an approachable menu. We serve like expensive coffee, like high level kind of drip coffee is, we're working on pour over service. It's coming. And then we also have creamy and sweet things.
Alex, what would you say obviously you're scaling, you have a second location now.
Yeah.
What would you say some of the challenges you encountered in scaling and just as a small business?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And I think a lot of it comes down to people trying to bite off more than they can chew. And so for me, it's like I often talk about things being like a marathon and not a sprint. So just get good at a small number of things, and then the rest will come with time. Don't try to put extra pressure on your team to produce stuff that maybe they're not ready for, maybe you're not ready for. I think moving with urgency is important, but you can't expect the world overnight with any business.
And like, obviously, technically, you guys started out as a pop-up. We're currently a pop-up, residency pop-up. I kind of want to know your take on like the pop-up scene at large and like why the proliferation of pop-ups seems to be occurring not only in the Bay Area, but also like quite literally all over, like specifically the US.
Sure.
I've seen some pop-ups come like out of East Asia, just like in their local communities as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what are your takes on that? And like, how do you feel about the pop-up
I think
scene?
pubs are really cool.
And how you approach pop-ups?
Yeah, pubs are really cool. I think the reason why they're popular is because cafe infrastructure is actually incredibly hard and incredibly expensive to set up. Just like moving wires around for an espresso machine or getting plumbing is just like in the Bay, even you're pushing like, I don't know, like $100,000 to just like set up a space that's not ready to be a cafe as a cafe. And that's a huge, huge investment. And I think pubs are popular because it's very low stakes. Maybe you have the Linea Mini, maybe you have a GS3, and that's like, maybe $10,000, but that's 10x cheaper, right, than investing in a space. I think pop-ups are a really good thing because it pushes the scene forward in terms of innovation, in terms of flavors, in terms of techniques. And I think there's Also, another thing that is kind of unsaid about pop-ups, that everyone who's doing it really loves the product. And I think that people are relatively humble, like low ego, and they care about the service and the product. And I feel like in cafes at large, sometimes the service is impersonal, or the baristas feel really aloof, or maybe you're not even talking to a barista at all. Maybe you're like ordering on some freaking iPad, and that sucks, right?
Yeah.
And so I think pop-ups are kind of a reaction to cafe culture becoming not great in some ways. It's like less personal, sometimes more ego driven, where it's like the barista's all tattooed and don't even talk to you or some shit.
All right. So I guess the follow-up question would be, like Paper Son also kind of served as to some level as an incubator for some of these pop-ups, right? What is your point of view in hosting some of these pop-ups? Why are you giving us and just other pop-ups a voice? And like an opportunity essentially.
I mean, I think everyone deserves an opportunity to kind of like chase dreams, and like we have like a really nice space that's like available. Somewhat selfishly, I think it'd be cool for Paper Son to even be part of the San Francisco like cafe lineage. Like I just started serving coffee, right? I didn't work at a top tier coffee shop here. I didn't come from Blue Bottle, St. Frank,
right? Yeah.
Coffee Movement, Andytown. We just started serving coffee out of the blue. Somewhat selfishly, it'd be kind of cool to be like, oh, like look at these spots that started at Paper Son. I think that's really cool.
I think that's amazing. Well, I mean,
that's like a side note that I think would be really, really cool.
100%. Yeah.
And a way of establishing legacy and community. Honestly, like between people that are we know each other, we have relationships, and that's what I think community means. Community isn't just serving drinks. It's like having like actual relationships that came from something real. And so that's, for me, that's a way of like saying this is what community means. Like we all put our heads together and did something really, really cool.
Right. I mean, a great example of that, like we literally just hosted a latte art throwdown. That was and it's one of the most unique throwdowns that I've ever been to, or that I've ever gotten to be a part of.
Right.
With the duos, like that was, you have to pick a partner and then you get a set of challenges. That was sick. That was so fun. I loved hosting it, and I loved watching everybody kind of fumble because they're not used to. Yeah, it's like a curveball. It's a challenge, and they're not used to that format. Where like latte art usually is, even though there is a huge community, it's a very strong community in SF for latte art, in the Bay Area for latte art. Yeah, all of the throwdowns kind of end up being really, really similar to each other, in the sense that like everybody is in it for themselves to a degree, right? And like, oh, I want to win. But like this last one was amazing in the sense that you had to have a partner. You had to do
like have duos. Yeah, I think
it was looser for
events. Sure. Like that is in like the spirit of like the kind of cafe that I want to be in, that I want to run. And I think going back to like the kind of like supporting other businesses question, like the last round we held was like in our vein of like, we're like a fun cafe. We don't take coffee too seriously, but we take it, enough to like make a good product. But we're all about fun. But supporting other businesses, it's not like, going back to what I said earlier about like keeping your concept small and compact. There are things that I really think are cool, but it's just not, we don't have enough time or experience, or just that's not our focus at Paper Son. That's not part of the original concept. But I think it's really cool to have like Komakase, like a coffee tasting experience, is something that's super, super cool and something I can get behind. And so that's why like I think it's great to promote other businesses and concepts, because that's your thing, that's your specialty, the tasting menu and that core experience. And that's not something I can offer right now, but something that I think the public needs.
Can you talk about maybe the behind the scenes and working with some of these pop-ups?
Yeah.
And, getting them set up? Obviously, like for us, when we first started out, there was definitely some frustration in finding a place.
Sure. Yeah.
We've definitely reached out to a lot of places. And there was some, a little bit of gatekeeping there. And to like figuring out where we could do this, where we could get started.
Yeah.
What is your approach and how do you essentially help people get to this point?
Yeah, I think as long as people have a concept and they stick to it, like, yeah, you can come and do your thing. What I care about most is that people care about taking care of the product. So whatever you're selling, in this case, probably coffee, taking care of the customer, making sure that everyone leaves satisfied. And just like people need to come out of here happy. That's like the most important part for me about running a cafe. Someone comes in, they leave happy, right? They get what they wanted. Or if they didn't know what they wanted, like you help them figure out what they want.
Yeah, I think definitely like speaking to helping other people refine their vision of like what their pop-up can be. Like I think one of my friends who wants to host a pop-up with you doesn't have like a clear vision of like what he wants to do yet. And like, but the thought of like, oh, like we'll have vinyl, we'll have, something.
I mean, there's something.
Yeah, right. Like that's what he wants to see eventually, right? Like, and like, like we don't know how that's going to turn out or how that's going to happen right now, but it'll be something that's different within the space of like the coffee industry in the Bay Area right now, right? So that's a.
I mean, you never know. Like you never know until you step into the arena. Nothing is real. Like you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but this is also just to kind of add on.
Yeah.
This is kind of taking it back to where we started as well. Like we didn't know how people were going to perceive this.
Right.
And without Paper Son, it would have been extremely hard to even test out the demand.
And like refine.
Yeah, and refine. And
Right.
I mean, Alex also played a huge role in helping us with the menu at the very beginning. Like at first, I think that we were kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
that's for another day. Yeah, you can show your first menu.
You remember day one, Alex? You were here.
Yeah, that was a little awkward. It was fine though. It was good. The brews were good, but I think like that as the core product, like that was good. But the rest of it needed more refinement.
But we've come a long way.
Yeah. I think the service has come a long way, and like another part of like growing as a business is just having things change over time. It's okay. Like you don't have to keep things the same. If it's not working, you should change quickly if you think it's not working.
Be nimble.
Yeah. I mean, day one, we pretty much opened to the public, and then for the following week, reservation only.
Yeah.
We quickly switched, which was good.
Yeah.
We figured this was not going to be the play.
Yeah.
To just open to public. So Paper Son bakes now, right?
Yes.
There's a collaboration with Tano.
Yeah. So Tano, I met Isaac when he at Gina Bakes. We worked together there, and then for like over a year, I was trying to.
Their shit is fire, by the way. It's so good.
I was gonna bleep that one out. But yeah, I worked with Isaac at Gina Bakes, and I was trying to get him to come bake or even pop up for like a year. And then suddenly he was like, "All right, fine, we can do it." And I was like, "All right, cool. I'm buying the oven now." Like,
Dude, you
oven's
built
coming.
a whole bakery.
Coming.
There's a whole bakery back there now. That's crazy.
List in LA.
That's crazy. Wait, did you get it sent up here? Or?
Yeah, we got it shipped. But yeah, we essentially got this big mini bakery set up in the back for like under.
It's
10,
not mini. You got
under
like
10K, which is like
that's insane. Because you have 2 huge fridges. You have
Yeah.
2 oven racks. Like what? Is that a warmer rack now too?
We have a proofer, and a 20-quart mixer,
giant stand mixer,
freezer, fridge,
just like
all the utensils, baking trays, speed rack,
a legitimate bakery. But it all fits in the back. That's crazy.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under 10K.
Obviously, previously you weren't serving your own baked goods. What's the vertical integration been like to actually get to this point?
Integration. Ooh. I think vertical integration. what's a bit nicer? A better way to say this is that everything is fresh. Like it makes a huge difference in your product when you have fresh things. So fresh bread, fresh pastries. It wasn't from some wholesale bakery that baked it at 2 a.m. and then they put it on a truck and delivered it to you.
It's also tailored, right, to what you want now.
So there's freshness, and then there's also quality, and then there's no one who makes the kind of Asian inspired baked goods like Isaac, and no one really makes coffee like us too either. So it's a great combo. But I think letting him have his own brands to make pastries and letting him run is really important. To give people space for creativity and space to make really good stuff. I think a lot of cafes and bakeries try to do both, and it doesn't turn out great, or they just buy wholesale, or one is good and one is bad. So just letting people have the space to be good is really important to me as well.
Alex,
Yeah.
what are your coffee hot takes?
Cool. Yeah. Let's see. I think let's start with a relatively easy one. So maybe a couple years ago, I first started roasting coffee at home with like a little SR 500 air roaster.
Love it.
And I bought this like Ethiopian natural, and it was actually really, really fucking good. It basically tasted like strawberry Nesquik.
Ooh.
And it was like one of the best coffees I ever had.
Milky.
And then I thought I was like a god tier roaster because I was drinking this like incredible coffee, but really it was just the beans. No, this was like pre-COVID, like 2018 Ethiopian natural, when they were all like pre-co-ferment, pre-anaerobic, none of this nonsense.
Anaerobic was there, Alex.
None of this nonsense. It was just a straight Ethiopian natural that was like strawberry juice, and it was really good. And I thought it was a god tier roaster because it was turning out great at home. Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of like that who like roast at home here, and they think they're like god tier, but really they're just roasting really good green.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the best marker of roaster skill is taking coffee that isn't like god tier and making it really good. I think that is like the mark of a really good roaster. Okay, that's first hot take.
Okay, what's the second one?
Second hot take. I think a lot of home specialty coffee enthusiasts go to cafes and set themselves up to be disappointed. And so they walk into the cafe as almost like being disappointed is a marker of their own taste.
Yeah.
But are they setting themselves up to be disappointed?
Because they want to be disappointed. They want to be disappointed because it validates their taste. Now, that doesn't mean that the coffee doesn't, maybe often there's just a misalignment of preferences. But I think when people are actively hating, it's just like they want to be disappointed. They want to hate because it's a validation of their own preferences to some degree. And we can say this about, lots of hobbies.
Sure. Like,
is your denim Japanese? Like, is your camera mirrorless?
This guy's denim.
Is your coffee washed something?
Ethiopian.
Washed Panama.
How many times was it washed?
Gesha. Is it double washed?
Double face anaerobic.
Yeah. There's like lots of, I think, there's lots of things where it's like, oh, I know more because I'm asking a certain question. I don't know. Like, I feel like people should just appreciate the service, appreciate the product, and understand that, on the other end, people usually care a lot about the end result.
We're gonna open some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Some Yu-Gi-Oh cards together.
This is a pull back.
It's gonna get
Okay. All right, let's go.
So this
It's a
is
full party right now.
Yu-Gi-Oh Retro Pack 1.
dude.
Retro Pack 1. Yeah. Okay. Be very careful when you're opening this. Yeah.
You hear my pack squeal? Okay.
All right, are you ready?
All right.
All right.
What do you got? Josh?
What do you got, Josh?
I got the Toon Mermaid.
Oh, okay. See you.
Then I got Ryu-Ran,
Okay.
Toon Summoned Skull,
Nice.
the Flying Kamakiri,
Okay. That's fine.
Summoned Skull,
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Gaia the Fierce Knight,
Nice.
Elegant Egotist,
Okay.
Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon,
Nice.
Giant Soldier Stone.
Nice. All right. Summon Skull is pretty tight.
That's yeah. You gotta keep that song.
We're gonna put that. Okay, so for viewers, yeah, we're distributing Yu-Gi-Oh cards because I think cafes should display Yu-Gi-Oh cards on their espresso machine, just like us.
Just like Paper Son.
If you wanna be like us, then you should put a Yu-Gi-Oh card on your bar too. Just saying. All right, let's see what we got.
Okay.
Here.
Or you got it, or am I going?
Kieran got it.
All right. We got Hyozan Ryu,
Okay.
Mother Grizzly. Oh, I got Toon World. That's a
Toon
deep
World.
one. Toon World. Okay. Giant Rat. I got a Scapegoat foil, dude.
Nice.
Foil.
Nice.
Okay. Cannon Soldier, Cursed Dragon, Gazelle the Mythical Beast. Oh, King of Mythical Beasts, and a Grave Keeper's Servant. All right. Okay.
Classic.
Classic.
Let's see what we got. Giant Germ.
All right.
Gaia Power.
Okay,
Sonic Bird. Giant Rat. Axe of Despair.
Okay, nice.
Giant Soldier Stone. Okay. We got some doubles. Trap Hole. Very useful. Very
Yes.
useful.
Oh, Magic
Hammer and
Okay.
Hane. All right.
Hane.
Pretty lame, dude.
We all got I think Josh got the best pack.
I think you got the best pack with the
He had the Summon Doll.
Skull.
Oh, I got Toon World though,
Toon
so
World.
that's pretty good.
You got
too.
Toon Summon Skull and Summon Skull.
Yeah. What? You don't need both, dude. Why do you got both?
You get
Dude?
Toon World and match them up.
Anyway, thank you for the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. That was a good time. I
This
haven't.
will go.
I haven't-
Komakase shop.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. That's what's
Yeah.
up.
When-
I want to see the Summon Skull on the machine.
On the machines. We are dead,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. It's like a visual indicator of your relationship with Paper Son. If you have the cards,
I love it.
cards in the machine or not.
This is the first time I've pulled a pack of cards in like 10 years. By the way, I literally have not. This is like nostalgia trip for me. It's crazy. All right. Alex, thank you so much for coming on with us and talking and hanging out.
Definitely.
Thank you for being a steadfast host and like helping us be the best business owners that we possibly can for Komakase and like hosting us for so long so far. It's been great. I think I wouldn't change a thing. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. This has been Alex Pong.
All right. Thank you for.
All right. Bye.